Makhosi. Ngiyanibingelela nina lapha emakhaya, all you valued and all you loved supporters of Kemi TV. Igedla lamashkrishkri leli bakwethu inyanga yamakhosi, but today I come before you as your prophet Shamun. Ngizochaza ukuthi legama leli liphuma kuphi, but before that, guys, I am happy. Guys, we are 20 subscribers away from hitting the big 4,000. We've come far from our first 100 subscribers. I thank you on behalf of Mfowetu. I thank you on behalf of Amatomo Wetu. I thank you on behalf of the Universal Mother and the Universal Father for you guys coming and be willing to drink from this well of knowledge. But we are establishing a universal library of spiritual knowledge. This is your prophet Shaman. This is Mkhulu Sseida, Mkhulu makhosi wonke owambathwa ingilosi zasesibhakabhakeni, ingilosi zasemanzini nezasentabeni, ordained by the seven heavens, no longer as a neophyte of occultic practices, but now as an ordained acolyte, a priest of the occult. Namhlanje, I come to you, as you've seen there on the thumbnail, guys. Today's episode is about jinns. This episode is not for everyone. This episode is for those of you that say ukuthi Mkhulu Sseida mina ngifuna imithi. Mkhulu Sseida mina anginandaba neswasho, anginandaba namanzi. I want you to help me tap into a spirit that is going to change my life. I have a problem in my life. I have a problem in terms of njahabantu ngibamu. I have a problem in terms of finances. But before sijula kuloko, yaphoqa ukuthi I must go into what are jinns? Who are they? What is their composition? And what role do they play in the universe? And what role can they play in your life? Before we go into this, guys, I must say again, bagwethu, yabonisa uma check ama stats wethu ukuthi about 70% of you that watch the channel are not subscribed. So please, guys, for the sake of the channel's growth and for the sake of these videos being shared in the algorithm, because the more watches we get, the more subscriptions we get, the more it gets shared in the algorithm, the more people globally can come to this knowledge, can tap into this library, and they can grow spiritually, because we are moving dimensionally. We are moving from the third dimension to the fourth dimension. Humans will no longer be plagued by basic understanding of reality, inyama nje kuphela, but we are tapping into the higher chakras. We are coming into the understanding of that we are more than humans. We have a living spark of the creation or the creator itself. We are gods. Not gods as in we are minor gods. And hence the slogan on this channel says, awaken your inner God. Igedla lamashkrishkri leli inyanga yamakhosi. Guys, jinns. Mkhulu Sseida, ukhuluma ngani when you are referring to jinns? I've watched the movie Aladdin. Ngabona indoda lapha eblue when they were rubbing a lamp, and yaphuma le ndoda, and he granted that boy 3 wishes. Are you saying ukuthi you're talking about the same thing? The concept is not too foreign, Bagwit. The concept is not too far, but there is a much more intricate knowledge in terms of what is a jinn, the origin of a jinn. What does a jinn do in the order of the cosmos? Makhosi. Now, I'm gonna reiterate this because I must read a disclaimer. Ngoba ngiyazi ukuthi khona abazofika in the comment section bathi sazile ukuthi wena uze ngobumnyama, sazile ukuthi awuzanga in the name of Jesus Christ, awuzanga in the name of Allah, you did not come in the name of Jehovah. Bagwethu, neither did I come in the name of Satan, or neither did I come in the name of Lucifer, but I come in the name of the Holy Mother and the Holy Father, of the original light, Hosanna, and thus I teach universal spirituality. I am a universal shaman. I am an acolyte. I am a priest of the occult. I tap into both this side and into this side. With that being said, the reason we're tapping into this is because spirituality is so vast. the spiritual world is so vast. Ayipheleli nje kuphela emadlozini nasemathongweni nasey'thunweni. Yebo, we can touch upon those things, but the world is vast. There are different types of spiritual practices that you yourself can tap into. Wena usohlulwe indaba zomsamo ekhaya, wena usohlulwe idlozi elokuligada, idlozi elokulivala inhlanhla, uloku uhamba uthwasa ungena la uthwasa uthi ulungisa umndawo, but uma ulungisa umndawo wakho imali yakho yongena yonke into yokuqonda, kodwa dolo lo usaxakekile, usabhubha induku financially, usabhubha induku lovically, usabhubha induku life-wise. See, to go where there are different offices you can tap into in order for you to guqula impilo yakho. Aside from uguqula impilo yakho, expand your knowledge. Like I said, we are moving from the third dimension to the fourth dimension, and thus we are moving from being purely flesh-orientated beings to being spiritually orientated beings, understanding our spiritual makeup. Emakosini. Now, what is a jinn? The fire demigods, originally spoken about in what we call Islam folklore, or in the Quran. For those of you that follow Islam, or those of you Ngama Suluman, you will know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that don't know, originally jinns are spoken about in Islam and in the Quran. They are not folklore, they are not folk tale. Let me rather say that they are not a fairy tale. Jinns are very real. They are as real as the wind. They are as real as the angels. They are as real as the stars you see above you. They are just a different form of divine creation. The word jinn itself means invisible. Mkhulu, if ikhona why ngingayiboni? Ngoba wena uhlakaniphile, ukubuza imibuzo ehlakaniphile. Ngoba umoya uyawuzwa kodwa ungawuboni. How do you know that wind exists? Some things in this world, but you don't need to see them ngamehlo wenyama. Some things you need to experience them spiritually. And thus, in order to tap into the power of a jinn, the invisible fire spirit, you need to go through certain processes, and there are certain methodologies that an alkalite and a master of the occult has to put you through in order either to put you in a covenant or for you to experience a jinn firsthand. Some of them you might not want to experience them, but we will go into it now. Jinns originally come from Islam folklore and the Quran. But unlike the angels, when the jinns were formed, you see, angels had the choice to rebel, but the price was high. Because once ingilosi ipambuka, ayisabuyele emuva. Iba demon, or rather it becomes what we call a fallen, because the word demon is taken from the word diamond, which we will explain later here. But if an angel leaves its office, there is no going back. But unlike an angel, a jinn is created with the free will to choose to either be good or to choose to be evil. Hence they are fire spirits. The makeup of a jinn is different from the makeup of an angel. Elementally, in the Kabbalah, when the world was created, it was created using the four words, Yod, He, Vav, He, the four elements: wind, fire, water, and earth. And thus they are different spirits within those umbrellas that fall into it. Water sprites, earth spirits that govern the trees, fire sprites, earth spirits that govern the fire, wind sprites, wind spirits that govern the wind, that govern the four cardinal points. There are different various offices governed by different spirits, and jinns fall under the creation, the divine spirits that were created using fire, the smokeless fire, which is a different type of fire than the lilolo when okabangayo lapha. Jinns fall under the category of daemon. Guys, like I was saying, the word demon is taken from the word daemon, which is an umbrella term for divine being. Jinns are a certain form of daemon. Aksama demon, they are a certain form of divine being. They are a certain form of spiritual divine being. And thus they come in different offices within that umbrella term. Jinns come in male and female, unlike angels, which are genderless. You find what we call ghouls, which are male spirits. You find what we call sila, which are female spirits, and then you find ifrit. Mara angeke sijule kakhulu regarding ama ifrit because yeah, their office is a bit dark. Ifrit are known to deal with causing diseases, causing misfortune, causing plagues, whereas Ghoul and Sila can fall either on the good or the bad. Ghoul or Sila can assist in helping somebody attain wealth. They can assist in somebody attaining love, attaining fame, depending on their office and depending on their power which was assigned to them. Mkhulu Sseida, siyabuza ukhuluma ngama-jinn, ukhuluma ngengilosi. Now we want to know, because we cannot see jinns, in which realm do jinns exist in? Guys, due to ukuthi they come in different types, as I mentioned, Ghoul, Sila, and Ifrit. The darker the office that the jinn chooses, the lower the realm it inhabits. You have jinns that inhabit the lower astral realms, the 13 lower astral realms, and then you have the jinns that inhabit the second and the third heaven. As you've heard, for instance, of the jinn called Iblis, one of the best known jinns, Iblis, or as you guys might know it, Iblis is known as the prince of the air, is known as the jinn that inhabits the second and the third heaven. We're still gonna go deep in explaining who Iblis is and connect ukuthi uhlangana nayiphi ingilosi ekhohlakele ephambanisa umhlaba okwamanje makhosini. Now, when you invoke a jinn can come in different forms. A jinn can take the form of a snake, a jinn can take the form of a dog. Primarily they take the form of a snake or a dog, but as well they can take the form of a winged dog with 4 heads, 3 heads, but it won't be the normal dog that you know, it won't be the normal snake that you know. Now uzobona ukuthi lento le engiyibonayo manje njengoba ngiyi-invokile is no longer a normal dog, is no longer a normal snake, but it is a spiritual being. It is a spiritual being from a higher or a lower dimension, depending on inkohlakalo yakho ukuthi what do you need it to do for you. Humans, through different methodologies, can control jinns and they can enslave them. As you know, one of the best known stories of somebody who was able to control jinns was Solomon. King Solomon, he who built the great temple for Amachumada. He possessed rings of power, magic rings that allowed him to enslave under a contract, under a covenant, multiple jinns that assisted him in accomplishing many great things. It must be known, guys, it must be known that there is a price for invoking a jinn. There is a price for entrapping a jinn. Logo sizokucacisa mase sintshela about different jinns in the future coming episodes, but there is a price. Just like there's a price for uktwala, there's a price for you getting under a covenant with a jinn, whether it's a male or female, whether it's an ifrit, ghoul, or a sila. But humans, through different methodologies, can control jinns and they can enslave them. One of the best methodologies are sigils. For those of you that don't know what is a sigil is a certain marking. I'll put it up here on the side. It's a certain marking that invokes certain universal energies. Just like a candle with its color can invoke or can open a door for you to speak to a certain type of spirit, whether it's Tunya Sasemanzina Sasentabin, whether Bokoko na Mkhulu. Likewise, a sigil can be used with the jinn's name to invoke that specific spirit, and under the law of the word, as you know, that the universe was created sonically through frequency, under the law of the word, under the law of frequency, under the law of sound, it can be invoked through that code. And if you do it correctly, that is why there are neophytes and there are acolytes. If done incorrectly, uyayithola induku, ayobhubha induku mkhulu. Ya uyobhubha induku, uyolusa idemoni and angeke lihambe emsamo amadlozi ayobaleka ngoba angeke azi ukuthi khona manje kungene lo mlilo lo asazi ukuthi lo muntu lo mlilo lo ola manje lesidala lesithixo somlilo singene kanjani manje sesiqhaqhe umsamo. You must have a neophyte to advise you, or an acolyte, a priest of the occult, or an occultic master to assist you in this process. But through the methodologies, through sigils, rings can be created for you, rings of power, rings that allow you to have influence over the masses. I'm sure nike nababona abanye bomfundisi benu bafike bagqoke kodwa ayithingathuli kakhulu angifuni ukuvala amabhizinisi wabantu. Certain businessmen, CEOs, nibabona bagqoka ama-ring. There is a certain power that they are operating under. It's no longer sometimes it's twala, it's no longer sometimes it's parang. It's now them operating with the power of a jinn. That is the power of a jinn. If the correct methodology is followed, if the correct sigil is followed, then you can bring about that spirit. You can get into a contract with that spirit. You can get into a covenant with it for it to give you fame, for it to give you power to rule over people, for it to give you money, for it to give you love, control over women, control over males. Sigils to invoke jinn must be accompanied, as I said, the universe is ruled by the word, sonically through frequency, must be accompanied by invocation. Not evocation, invocation. They must be invoked through certain hymns at times, through certain spells at times, depending on the jinn, depending on its office, depending on the methodology. When again ngobuhlakaniphile ijima uyosdrawela isigil yakho ithole online uphinda-phinde into ebusuku ngesikhathi ekungamelanga iphinde-phinde uzoyibona ukuthi lento ikhona kodwa izoyoqhaqheka izinto zakho ziphambane uyobhubha induku mkhulu. Jinns must be invoked by an occultic practitioner, somebody who's been taught in the ways. Now, Mkhulu Sseida, you said you are a neophyte. You said you were a neophyte. Ngahamba ngayi Cape Town, aside from handsome people, ngangiyoxhumana nezinto nabantu kwadingeka ukuthi ngixhumane nabo in order for me to be ordained in my office. And I can proudly say now I have moved from being a neophyte, an advisor on this channel, to being an acolyte, somebody who is a practitioner, an occultic priest okhona ukusiza wena ozofika uthi mkhulu angifune muthi angibhora, angifune amanzi ayangibhora, angifune iwasho ziyangibhora. Ungangitsheli about that mkhulu, you're out of pocket, nginikeze into eqondile. Figure wena ngizokunika lento oyifunayo. In the future, I will be outlining what I am capable currently in my office of doing and what I cannot do. But I can gladly say ukuthi I am no longer a neophyte, I am now a practitioner, an acolyte ordained under the 7-pointed star, under the 7 heavens, to be able to traverse both dimensions, the physical and the spiritual. I am ordained in order ukuthi when I speak to a spirit, my name is known, and my name is the Prophet Shamu. If you remember, in the Bible there was in the book of Acts, khona amaJuda athize bawaphapha abona uPaul akhipha amademon in the name of the Christ. And mawabona lokho, although they were not ordained, you must be anointed, you must be ordained by the universe in your office. They were not ordained. Bafika entombazaneni eyayinamademon amaningi bathi no bafika endodeni enamademon amaningi bathi kuye, we command you in the name of the Christ that Paul preaches to leave this man. Ayi yaphendula ijini yathi lalela ke ndoda ngangibhedeli, I know Paul, I know the Christ, but wena angikwazi. Ayi abancikisa ngodonga mkhulu, abancikisa ngodonga yabakhumula impahla bathi bagijima estradini banqono. Be ordained. You must be ordained in order to be able to invoke jinns. Hamba yoganga uzoyithola lento oyifunayo. And thus I have been ordained, and thus now I can start offering this service. This is not a dark service, by which this is not a service of light. This is both sides. It is ambiguous. It is gray. It toes the line of the dark and the light, depending on the person who needs it. For example, when uyafika kimi uthi Mkhulu sengahamba ngayothwala noma kwathwala ekhaya asikhona ukusikhipha isithwalo sekonakele Mkhulu akukho engakwenza angifune nokucabanga ukulahla lento le lekona salilahla kodwa kusawonakele. I need you to now connect me with the diamond. I need you to connect me with the Jinn. Mkhulu, we will invoke Mammon for you. Yeah, we will invoke Mammon. Sizokuthatha lento angeke ngiyenze la endumbeni, ngizokuthatha Mkhulu ngihambe nawe siyehlathini siyenze lento ngalamakhandlela naleyilwane ngizocela ukuthi uze nazo. We will invoke you and put you under a contract ukuthi ucebe noma ukuthi uthole udumo. We will be in future, guys, going into detail in terms of the services, like I said, in terms of the rings, in terms of the sigils, in terms of which Jinn I am able to work with, and to what extent I am able to assist you. Kodwa namhlanje, I hope that this has given you a breakdown or an understanding of what a Jinn is. Ukuze mawufika la, you must have an understanding lento ozoyithatha noma lento engizokuxhumanisa nayo. Ungafiki willy-nilly ucabanga ukuthi nje uzoganga la. Ngifuna umuntu serious. This is serious. Ngifuna umuntu serious, umuntu ozazi indaba zakho ongeke aphazame. Ngoba lana angikhona ukukhipha. Sisithwalo leso ozohamba uthola inyanga enamandla ezolahla 500,000 emanzini ukuthi kulahlisa isithwalo cha Mkhulu. Uthathile angisaphenduli ifoni yami uma ugeja. Mkhulu Sseida lo, your prophet Shamun, igedla lamashishku Mkhulu makhosi wonke. Ngiyasithoba phambi kwenu ngithi guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share this video, comment. If there's anything I've missed here, or if there's anything you would like me to go into more depth, we will cover it in the next episode. Ngiyasithoba phambi kwenu ngithi Hosana.